Welcome to the JBJ Management Podast. I'm Willis Johnson.
And I'm Samantha Gordon.
Samantha and I are going to talk today about something that I think is a bit touchy. There was a murder. There was a murder in Utah at a college. Charlie Kirk. What is the... Let's not, we don't have to get into the political side of it, but are we losing it?
I don't even know how to answer that question because I think today the news was all the aftermath, everything that's going on. There's multiple colleges that were on lockdown following this. Just days later, like that to me just says so much right there. I don't want to say no because you want to have faith in humanity at this point, and I think that's what everyone needs. So I really don't want to say. I really want to say no. That's what I want to say.
Are you afraid, Samantha, to give an opinion publicly now?
I think that's what everyone wants you to be. I think not everyone. I think that's what these individuals that are carrying out these acts. I think that's what it is, and that's sad and it's scary. And I wonder the world that these kids, the world that we're in is so hard to imagine sometimes, but I also look at young kids. This is normal for them. Like we just passed the anniversary of 9/11 and that was the horrific tragedy of my childhood.
Wow.
That one thing.
You know, everybody has that day. Where were you on the day that
I would say that and
whatever
Sandy
it
Hook.
is that happened?
That and Sandy Hook, my childhood.
And so it's interesting you say that. So Sandy Hook came after Columbine.
Mm-hmm.
And Columbine happened in 99. And I remember that because my oldest son was an athlete in high school, and the killers at Columbine was looking for the high-profile athlete. And so then there came this, because there was so much talk about it, then there was a guy that was at my son's high school in Texas who wore the same thing that the Columbine killer wore. And now you got all of this panic going on the campus. So to your point, that's a generation of killings, murders, explosions, 9/11, Sandy Hook, Columbine. And this is the land of the free, home of the brave. And now in Texas, I can't speak for what every other state's doing, but in Texas, everybody got a gun. You should assume everybody got a gun because the state law says you can. I was at the car wash. That should be a safe place. I am vacuuming out the inside of my car. I go around on the passenger side. There's a guy, sidearm. He's got it in his holster. I'm like, really?
So then I have a question. Do you feel safe or do you feel nervous on that situation? Like, that's when you see people, is that for their protection, for somebody else's protection, or is it like, do you feel safe or do you feel nervous?
I felt like I should have had mine. That's what I felt like. Because it's too late. I won't be able to say to him, hold on, let me run home. I'll be back.
Right.
And then we can continue this conversation. Well, so now I'm avoiding any contact, any conversation with him. But then I think, well, what if a police officer saw him? Even though he has the legal right. But man, I grew up watching Westerns. And so Marshall Dillon and all of that stuff back then, they all had a gun. Is that where we are now? And can you not go on a college campus and give your opinion? I'm not making a statement one way or the other about Charlie. I'm just saying anybody that goes on a college campus or goes to a recreation center or goes to a church and has a controversial opinion, are they not safe anymore? I just wonder, can we talk? You know, our podcast is Let's Talk About It. Well, can we really talk about it? Can we really say? Because then a guy on MSNBC makes a statement about the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and he says, I think his name is Matt Dowd, he says, hateful outbursts lead to hateful consequences. I paraphrase, but it's something to that. And they fired him. They said, well, you can't say that because that is land of the free. So what can we say today, Samantha? What is it we can say?
I have no idea. I feel like that's everyone's answer. That's the hard part. I mean, it's funny you're saying all of this, and I'm thinking back to my experience in college, and I'm looking at, I was at Texas Tech University for undergrad. We had a free speech area. That's this one area, free speech area, and anyone could come out there. I mean, we had people that would come from off campus out there and that would preach whatever they wanted to preach out there. It's a free speech area. I never felt unsafe walking through that. That was, I don't know how many years ago, but I never felt unsafe. I mean, it was in between the cafeteria and the library. Okay. I had to cross it for food and to study, and I never felt unsafe.
But now, I wonder, do they still do that at Texas Tech?
I think they do. I think I've seen that they still do, but I wonder if after the incident in Utah that they're a little bit more protective of that area, or a little bit more concerned about who is walking on campus and what do they have. I mean, they showed so many pictures of the suspect, and he had a backpack, just like every other kid on campus.
Well, there's so much talk about this now, but I can just tell you, for a man who grew up as a youngster in the 60s, it's not new. I've talked about this before, there were 5 assassinations between 1963 and 1968. And I remember when the last one occurred, my mother said, they're going to kill us all. This was 60 years ago. So in 1963, Medgar Evers is killed in Mississippi, coming home from an NAACP voters rally. They're trying to register people to vote. He gets killed in his front yard. Later that year, President John F. Kennedy is killed in Dallas, Texas, right down the street from here. And then in 1965, Malcolm X is at the Apollo. He's in New York. He's in New York giving a speech. He's killed on a Sunday afternoon by somebody who looked like him because he had a controversial speech. He had controversial thoughts. In 1968, in April, in Memphis, Tennessee, a man is there fighting for the rights of the trash workers. Martin Luther King is killed. Then in June of the same year, 3 months later, Robert F. Kennedy in Los Angeles is shot and killed. In 5 years. So now, and that has nothing to do with the other craziness, the bombs of the 4 little girls in Alabama at the church. See, these are things that's in the history book, but I'm living then. I'm feeling that. That's happening. So when Charlie Kirk is killed in Utah, I know it's got people all messed up, but it's a repeat of history. This is not the first time this kind of thing has happened in America. And each one of those assassinations that I talked about in the 60s, they just had opinions that did not align with other people. So is that who we really are? If my opinion doesn't agree with you, what, are we going to shoot each other? What are we going to do?
Well, and I think one of the issues that I can only imagine from then to now, social media. So my opinion is now broadcasted, and it has a wider reach than it's ever had before. And so that gives more people to disagree, agree, hate, all of those things. And I wonder what kind of factor, there has to be somebody that's looking into this. There has to, we're not the first ones to think about this or talk about this. Like, there has to be so much more now. But with that comes so much more that we could do to prevent, to help.
But what?
That's what
Do we just stop talking? Do we stop giving our opinions? Chris Rock made a joke about this, but it may have something to do with it. He said, you don't have to take away the gun. Just make the bullet $5,000 per. Then you're going to be selective about that bullet. If that bullet is $5,000. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be facetious. I'm just trying to figure out where are we going to go with this. And I know this is new to a lot of people. He was 31. He was 31 years old. But I just want you to understand that Malcolm X was 33. Dr. King was 39. Robert Kennedy was, he was 40. John F. Kennedy was 46. These are young people that are being shot down for their opinions. And then I really have an issue with old men, which I've become one. Old men sitting in ivory towers making decisions about young people going to war. See, it's easy to say go do that when you're sitting in the comfort of, you got all kind of security around you and you're making these decisions. But that 18 and 19-year-old, I come from an era of Vietnam. Do you know that the average lifespan of a trooper in Vietnam was less than an hour?
Wow.
You drop, boom, done. It's so many people didn't come back. We couldn't win that war. So I know this is controversial. I know this is not quite what y'all had thought. But it's the America that we're living in now, and we have to be cognizant of our surroundings, of our thoughts, and as you say, social media. Whatever you put on Instagram or whatever you put on Twitter or TikTok. What if somebody's mad? Can they look you up? I don't know that answer. Can you be looked up?
Yes. I think in this day and age, everyone can.
So does that make you keep your mouth closed?
Probably. Inadvertently, I would think. Probably does.
One of the last interviews that Charlie Kirk did, they talked to him about, well, what would happen? What do you want to be remembered for? He said, well, you mean, what if I die? Not knowing that he would at 31 years old. So, hopefully we'll be back for the next JBJ Management Podcast. Let's talk about it. I'm Willis Johnson.
And I'm Samantha Gordon.
We'll see you on the next one.